All right. Good morning. It was a nice night. Later, man.
Later.
Have a good hike today. Whew, much cooler today. And I am much sorer today than I have been yet. So we'll see how that works out. That was Micheletta. Met him on the hike up the mountain yesterday, and but we hiked up mostly separately. And then after I got to the shelter and the storm set in and it was over and all that, and it was nighttime and already dark, all of a sudden he appears. So he was I was all set up in that shelter by myself and about ready to go to bed, about ready to go to sleep. It was late, maybe 9 o'clock, and he comes down. So he came from there and all the way up the mountain in that pouring storm and in the dark with no headlamp on. I don't know how the heck he did it. I definitely would have just gone off in the woods somewhere like right here, you know, up a ways and just set up my tent, but he made it in. So anyway, we talked for a bit last night, and then of course this morning, and it's late for me. I don't even know what time it is. It's very, very likely 8 or later right now, and I'm just getting started. So we'll see what the day holds. I'm gonna, I'm just, no real goals today. I'm just gonna take it easy. Everything's wet. Make sure I don't get hurt. I've got a steep descent because I'm only maybe halfway down the mountain that I climbed yesterday, and it's like gonna be like this or worse the whole way. It gets way steeper down here. So I'm expecting this to take probably at least a couple hours just to get to the bottom. And then see what next mountain shows up. Still here. Okay, freshened up on my water a little bit, had a small quick snack, and I'm on my way. Boy, that took quite a while to get down, as I expected. Now, for the next, I don't know, a couple hours at least, maybe a few hours, the terrain doesn't look horrible. Who knows what that means? Might be massive boulder fields that take me 5 hours to traverse, but doesn't look to be horrible. And Then later on I will go up Mount Wolf, which I expect to be just kind of a moderately small mountain like a lot of the mountains I've done around, And then later I will do Kinsman. That will probably be the last thing I do today, to give me somewhere between, I don't know, maybe 13 to 15 miles today total. Kinsman should be a doozy. It's not nearly as big as Musalaki, but it's still like a 2,000 foot climb, and I expect it to be, pretty crazy, just with the steepness and the rocks and the whole thing, just like Musalaki was. So it should be a good, solid, hard way to end the day. All right, I'm into my climb up Mount Wolf, the smaller mountain before my big climb at the end of the day. Hopefully I'll be through this climb down the other side to the shelter where there's water. But then, less than 2 hours. And then I'll take a quick lunch break and start climbing Kinsman Mountain. As you can see, getting a little bit of sweet rain here, cooling me off. Seems like maybe it's stopping, I hope not. So yeah. Of course it makes everything slippery, so it's a double-edged sword, I guess. Well, I'm still trying to get all the way off Mount Wolf, or Wolf Mountain, whatever it is, to the first shelter to eat lunch. It's taking me longer than I expected. Probably get in there about 45 minutes late or something like that. Anyway, had a couple of goals today. One was to do this Mountain Kinsman. It's coming up, and just get in 13 miles today, which doesn't sound like a lot. But anyway, my other goal was to just get it done earlier than yesterday, so that I could get into camp at a decent time, get to sleep early, just let my body recover a little, since I did all those 25s and the big day yesterday and all that. Anyway, I don't know. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. If I do Kinsman, I mean, it's taken me, 5 hours to do 8 miles today. And, well, I'm not even done. Not even done. I guess 5 hours to do 7 miles, I think. Anyway. And then from the shelter, it'll be 5 miles to do Kinsman. And Kinsman, I believe, is going to be really, really difficult, like Musalaki was yesterday. It's a 2,000 foot climb. So, I mean, it might take me 5 hours to do that, That means I'll be getting in, at 7 o'clock tonight into camp, and not getting to bed early, that's for sure. So, I don't know. I'm sure once I have some lunch, I'll be reinvigorated, and I'm going to go for it. And just hopefully I'm not up too late, so we'll see how it goes. This is the Eliza Brook shelter, and so I'm going to just have some lunch here and then head out. But man, it's really nice. They did it right, so it's in great shape. We've got a bear box here, which is awesome. And I don't know if you can hear it, but there's a stream just right over the edge there, the water, and a privy back behind. So anyway, these places in the White Mountains charge. So it costs $10 to stay at most of them, to camp, things like that. You can buy, or actually it might cost $15 anyway, whatever. But you can buy a permit for $10, which allows you to stay at all these places for $5 each. So anyway, if you're going to stay more than a couple, it makes sense to do that. So anyway, I'm just going to eat up and rest and get out of here. Well, I had a good lunch, and I'm starting my ascent of Kinsman Mountain. It had stopped raining for a couple hours, but it's just started up again, and it's been a whole bunch of thunder in the background. So at least keep it nice and cool. Unfortunately, wet and slippery, but you know, can't have everything. So at the shelter, as I was having lunch, a southbounder came in. His name is Magic Mike, and he we were talking a little bit about what's to come on either side. So he was giving me a little advice about the White Mountains and some of the huts and places you can eat and stuff. A bunch of the huts in the White Mountains, not like shelters, they're nice, like, you know, nice big lodges, and they have lunch they'll serve you, you know, salads and sandwiches and various things. So anyway, we talked about that and some resupply options, and have a little more information than I had before. So all right, I'm gonna start climbing and try to get to my shelter for the night. I just came out into this clearing. It's one of the few times where the Appalachians remind me of the Rockies. I mean, that looks like it could be the Rockies right there. Those protrusions, rocky ledges coming out. Amazing little pond over there. Wow. Well, here's the first Kinsman summit. There's I guess a west and an east or something. So anyway, I imagine I'm heading up to that clearing right now, or for the next summit. We'll see. So it's clouding in fast. Alright, it's a little before 6, and so I made it, just about on time. So here I am at the Kinsman Pond Shelter. There's a really beautiful pond back here, as you can see, if I aim this right. And this shelter's different. There's actually a caretaker out front. There's a bear box here. Shelter is ultra nice, has a deck up on top that you sleep on. Has tent pads, so that means those wooden decks. And I'm pretty sure they will not let me set up my trekking pole tent on those, because I'll have to be doing things like jamming stakes in between the slats and stuff like that. So I think I'm staying in the shelter. Anyway, this is definitely one of the shelters you have to pay at. So it'll be $10. You know, what do you do? And actually, like I said before, I think it's more like 15, but if you pay 10, then that's good for your first one, and then you'll have to pay 5 at each one after that, or something like that. So I'm sure whoever the caretaker is will come catch me later and explain and take my money. So anyway, it feels early, like there's no one here and stuff, but I mean it's not, and I need to get to bed early. So a part of me wants to just push on and go a little further, but I have to go a long ways, like another 7 miles to find another place to stay. So I'm done for today. I think I only did like 13 miles. It doesn't feel like very much, but man, it was a full day, even though I got a late start. So I'm going to crash out and then maybe try to do 15 tomorrow or so. So anyway, White Mountains. Now I know what to expect. A lot of straight up, not hardly any breaks, humongous boulders, crazy slabs of rock that you're just supposed to somehow be able to get up and down even when it's wet. I mean, you're just like hanging onto trees, dragging yourself up, all sorts of stuff. So anyway, now I see why you can't do as many miles in the White Mountains. Good night.